Fort William in Scotland is the third stop on the circuit of the 2012 Rocky Roads UCI Mountain Bike World Cup presented by Shimano. 200 kilometers north of Glasgow lies the Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in the British Isles at 1,344 meters. Nestled on the shores of Scotland's longest sea loch, Fort William is the downhill mecca for UK bikers. The track is the most physically demanding on this year's World Cup calendar. Especially for the British professionals, it plays a special role.
Fort William is pretty special because it's such a long and physical track, and there's always so many people here. And I think you've got to be a special rider and very fit and be good at pedaling and just be very strong to do well here. But always different results every year, so anything's possible, and it's a great event. Should be good. We are just coming to the end of the top section of the track. Quite flat and smooth so far, and we have these wooden bridges we have to ride along. But it's like a shock to the system when you suddenly hit this big rock garden. You have to find the line and try to stay with it as best as you can, but you wake up quick when you hit this. We're in the Midge Woods, so this is the start of the woods. It's not somewhere you can win, but you can definitely lose here. If you tag a tree or one of these roots catches you out, you're going to lose a lot of speed. You've got to always be careful that you don't hit your handlebars on the trees, and if it gets wet, this is always a challenge in here, and if you get midges in your mouth. So we've arrived at the bottom section of the track. All the technical, the section's over, all the woods is over. By the time you get to here, you're absolutely finished. The last of energy you have, and it's fairly flat and straight and some few jumps to carry your speed, but pedaling's the most important thing for the bottom sections. By the time you get to here in the race, you can see the finish line. You have mixed emotions. You're really tired and physically worn out and done. But then you have big crowd, everyone cheering for you, so it keeps you pedaling. It's a great feeling when you get to here.
For Brendan Fairclough, Fort William is another chance to tackle the world's elite after his injury. In Val di Sole, he was not very happy with his performance. Here's a short roundup of what else happened in Italy. One week ago, we were in Val di Sole, Italy for round 2 of this year's Mountain Bike World Cup. It was to see the return of the favorites, Rachel Atherton and Florian Pougin. The Stud 11 rider put in a strong run to take 4th place. Reigning world champion Emmeline Ragot couldn't carry the form she showed to win qualifying into the final and slipped to 3rd. Myriam Nicole, who took her only Carrier World Cup win on this course in 2011, gave it absolutely everything to repeat the feat. But it wasn't to be enough, as Rachel Atherton, who missed round 1 to recover from shoulder surgery, threw down a sensational run to take the win. Older brother G. Atherton made an amazing recovery from an injury to make the start after breaking a leg just 8 weeks ago. Another big crash in practice, which led to stitches in his arm, didn't slow him down much. A solid run for 3rd. Round 1 winner Greg Minnaar was looking for a repeat performance, managing to sneak just ahead of G-Man. But the day belonged to Aaron Quinn. The American was simply breathtaking. As he crossed the line, he was in a class of his own, winning by an insane 7.8 seconds. So on the overall leaderboard, it's Emmeline Ragot leading the way. 2 solid 3rd places for her. Tracy Hanna, the round 1 winner, had an off day here and dropped to 2nd. Myriam Nicole was 3rd. Quinn and Minnaar are tied at the top of the men's table with a win and a 2nd place each. G. Atherton, 3rd today, moves to 3rd overall. G is eager to continue this great form at his home race in Fort William. And Rachel is also determined to follow up with another victory. For the Atherton siblings, the home round on Ben Nevis is something special. Rachel has never managed to win here. G just once.
Winning at Fort William in 2010 was amazing for me, you know. that feeling of crossing the finish line and seeing the whole British crowd just going wild, and you know, the place erupted. It was an amazing feeling, and I've been working at it for a long time. You know, I'd had a lot of bad luck there, a lot of crashes, and you know, to eventually take it was amazing. Winning again in Fort William would be huge to me, because you know, you remember that feeling, you know how good it is, and you know that it's possible. For me, I think going into Fort William, having won there before, is, you know, it's going to make me really push extra hard, and you know, give it that extra small percentage that I'm going to have to try and take a win there.
Fort William there's nothing like it. You know, people say it time and time again, but the crowd's massive. I think last year I crossed the line and everyone was cheering, and I crossed the line and it was just like silence, because I had not won, and I was like, I never want to hear that again. You know, the crowd is behind you 100%, and when you don't win and everyone is disappointed, and it's horrible. And I think that says a lot. You know, how much you can feel from the crowd. It's amazing. I have no idea what it would feel like to win Fort William. Yeah, G1 2 years ago, and you know, that was beyond how I expected it to feel, and that wasn't even me, so hopefully I'll find out.
Hello everyone, welcome to Fort William in Scotland for round 3 of the UCI Downhill Mountain Bike World Cup. We've got some rain in the air, 10 degrees C, it's not too cold. It doesn't matter though, the fans always turn out in force here for what is one of the biggest races of the season. So let's take a look at the women's action now then, starting with Emmeline Rigaud, the 2-time world champion, wearing that leader's jersey in the World Cup for the very first time. She's never actually won the World Cup before. And we're seeing her go off very early this afternoon due to a puncture in her qualifying run. So here she comes down, oh, and she gets nearly thrown out of the front door there over that big tabletop. These girls struggling with this a little bit. They've been on course some nearly 5 minutes when they get to this point, and it's one of the roughest, longest courses on the World Cup circuit. So she sets the early bar. Emmeline Rigaud, 5:27.089 is the time to beat now, and she sits on top of that hot seat. Tracy Moseley making a return to downhill racing, actually retired from the downhill discipline to focus on more enduro events, but being a winner here 6 times, she couldn't resist the temptation to come and try and steal another win away. The crowd absolutely love Moseley here as she comes down now on this bottom section. This is where her power will come to the fore. So she goes through that split there with a 4:58. She's 14 seconds back. So she will not threaten that time of Rigaud, and you can see why they're casing that double. That's took even more speed from her. So just a couple of turns to go, but Moseley will not make it win number 7 here this afternoon. Incredible track record here on home soil over the big tabletop into this step down there, decided not to triple it. So Moseley comes down to the line. It's a 5:41.34, 14.2 back, and that time of Rigaud's is looking better already. So the next girl to head out into this Scottish fog, Floriane Pougin, the 2007 Junior World Champion. 2 times third here, coming back from injuries. Oh, and at the split, she's 11 seconds back. But look at the speed she's carrying, sending it over that double there a lot cleaner than we saw Tracy Moseley. And obviously when you come up short on these jumps, it takes more of that valuable speed away from you. Pougin decided not to jump that step down. So she had a great ride, 4th in Val di Sole after being stretched away from round 1 in Pietermaritzburg. Pougin cleanly over that double as well. Just this step down and a sprint to the line. She's going to go in a second spot, 11.698 back for her. And what a scintillating time by Emmeline Rigaud, nearly 12 seconds ahead. So Miriam Nicole now making her bid for glory in Scotland, the 08 Junior World Champion. Twice on the podium here, 4th in 2011. Making a good effort to get over those tabletops, but in these wet conditions, they're proving just too big, deciding not to really go for that second one there, get land early and get back on the pedals. So Miriam Nicole known more for the steep circuits like Val di Sole last week, where she finished 2nd, 10th at round 1 in Pietermaritzburg on a flatter course like this. but it's a good ride from her. She's going to go second on a 5:36.5, closing the deficit to 9.5 seconds to the leader, Rigaud there. So Rachel Atherton, unbelievably, Rachel Atherton has never won here on home soil. She's been runner-up 5 times, and she would love to win this. As we saw earlier in the show, it would mean absolutely everything to her. And last year she was leading at the split. She's coming up to now before she lost it on this pedal section. So only 2.370 back. Rachel Atherton, this is doable for her. Oh, and she makes the best effort yet we've seen of any of these girls to get over these tables. Comes up a little bit short there, and it takes a bit of her speed. Has she done enough? Rachel Atherton, the 2008 world champion. Well, she's seconds away from finding out. She would love to win here. Is it going to be close? Oh, she's 1.3 back. She goes second for the 6th time. The bridesmaid once again. And Rachel Atherton and this crowd absolutely destroyed. A much better bottom section than we saw from her before, though. She did take a second out of Rigaud. But it's all about that girl today, the reigning world champion, the winner in Scotland.
I feel pretty good. It was like a long time I was waiting for, and like I know I have good feeling on my bike, but I got like unlucky, so I was like in pace today and try just like to stay mellow, and with the rain it's not really easy, and on the same time you have to ride fast but be careful not slide on the rocks, so it's like, yeah, it's really hard connection.
Indeed it was. Terrible conditions, bad visibility, wet rocks, but Rigaud made sense of it all to take the win here today. A great ride from her. Rachel Atherton, well, she'll be destroyed to come second again. Miriam Nicole there in third, with Pujin in fourth. And in the overall standings, Emmeline Rigaud extending that World Cup lead by the win today. Rachel Atherton, second today, moves her to second overall.
Coming up after the commercial break, the highlights of the World Cup in Fort William, the men's final. We'll also see what traveling means to the Athertons, and we'll visit them on their free day at home. At the third downhill race of the 2012 Rocky Roads UCI Mountain Bike World Cup presented by Shimano, Emmeline Rigaud celebrates her first World Cup victory of 2012 and relegates Rachel Atherton to second. Rachel and her brother are constantly on the road to contest races. There is very little time to recuperate at home.
Yeah, during the season, the schedule is always pretty tight. You know, it's pretty much every weekend you're traveling the world, and you know, I enjoy it. We just got back from Val di Sole yesterday, and we're off to Fort William tomorrow, so it really is back to back all year. Travelling has changed over the years. When I first started with my brother, it was, you know, when you're doing it on your own, you're doing it on a shoestring. You know that you're doing it, spending as little money as possible, and that's when travelling is really hard, and you know, it is quite difficult then. But you know, now we're more experienced with the travelling, and we're on a bigger team, and you know, it's still tough and it's still tiring, but you know, it's different now. You learn tricks, how to make it easier for yourself. It doesn't get boring. I still enjoy it, and I think you know, the travelling is, you know, I still think I'm a very lucky person to be able to do that much travelling.
After you've been racing for a few seasons, you know, the travelling definitely, the novelty wears off a little bit, you know, and you do get used to it. But I think for us it's quite special, you know, because I'm always with my brothers, and our team is so close-knit, and you know, it's like a family, so it's cool that you can share the travelling and all the experiences with people that you're really close to, and I think that makes it special, and it helps me deal with it quite a lot.
Being at home is super important for me, because the racing is so tiring. You know, when you're at a race, you're so focused and it's so intense. You know, when you come home, it's easier to switch off from all that. So I don't have to be home for long before I start getting itchy feet and wanting to go travelling again. But you know, when I'm away for a long time, I do miss home.
It's really important for me between races, you know, to come home and to switch off. You know, you have to get that balance of racing up on a high level and then coming home and just switching off your mind. And for me, you know, coming home and spending time my dog and you know, just chilling out in the garden and, you know, mowing the lawn maybe, or just going for a walk. You know, it's a really important time, and I really do enjoy it.
Well, G certainly won't be relaxed right now. He's already seen his sister Rachel lose by the narrowest of margins, and he will be desperate to make that win happen here on home soil. There's Aaron Gwyn, Greg Minnaar. All the big guns are going to be in action here this afternoon. Very important to warm up in these cold conditions. Well, Aaron Gwyn then in the start hut already. This is because yesterday, during his qualifying run, he actually managed to come off here and actually further down the course, meaning that he's one of the first guys off this afternoon. Said he was trying different tyres out. Seems a little bit unlikely to me that you would be testing tyres during a qualifying run. But either way, Aaron Gwyn coming in here off the back of a 8-second win in Val di Sole a week before is definitely the man to beat. So here he comes then up to the split. And I can tell you he's 9.3 seconds up. So Gwyn putting all his problems of yesterday's qualifier behind him. You can see these men getting over these big tabletops. Look at that, perfect poise in the air. Doesn't ever seem to do much with his body. Seems very central on the bike. Gwyn, a lot of people scratching their heads as to how he manages to make a mountain bike go so fast. So Gwyn cleanly over that step down. That means he's going to carry a huge amount of speed down that big drop now. Just got to jump over these berms. I think he's going to go fastest. So Gwyn sprints to the line. And he goes fastest, yes he does, 4:48.21, 9.654 up. Will that be good enough to see him take the second win of 2012 here in Fort William? Josh Bryceland for the Santa Cruz Syndicate, 22 years old, the 08 Junior World Champion. Little bit of an unknown quantity when he's on though, and if he has a good run here this afternoon, he could definitely threaten that time set by Aaron Gwyn. Loves these technical sections. You can see him making, oh man, that was fast, railing that turn there, and that one as well. So he looks composed at the moment, and watch him just thread that Santa Cruz bicycle through the gap there in the rocks. Going to see plenty of punches usually in Fort William, a lot of technical problems with the bikes, derailleurs getting ripped off and so forth. So Bryceland's sitting down, I think he's playing it clever. He's going pretty fast down there anyway, saving his energy. Oh, he's back though. 4.566 back, so that's a big gap to shut down now. On this last section he won't do it, but how close can he get to Aaron Gwyn? Second at St Anne in 2011, the course we're visiting next, and it's a very similar high-speed track like this one. So Bryceland has had a great run though. Remember, Aaron Gwyn is definitely the man to be, the 2011 defending champ with 5 wins. Oh, and Bryceland goes second across the line, 5.056 back. That is a great run from the young Mancunian. And already on track, it's Sam Hill, the flat pedal thunder from down under. Won the World Championships here in 07. Mixed fortunes though for him in 2010 when a massive crash saw him miss most of the season with injuries sustained on that top part of the course. So here he is then coming down to the split. You'd have to say Hill, better known. Oh, not bad though. Second spot for him, 3.099 back. Better known for steeper technical tracks, but he looks to be carrying awesome speed on this lower section. And if you're wondering why he's wearing pink and riding the pink bike, well, everything afterwards being sold for breast cancer awareness for charity. So Hill doing his bit there as well. So here he comes then over this big step down. The 2009 World Cup champion. This man used to win World Cups for fun. Injury has slowed him down a bit though, but Hill is working his way back towards full fitness. 7th in Val di Sole. What's he going to do? Oh, he goes second across the line. 4.51, just 3.5 seconds back. Hill is starting to find some form again. So move over, Casanova. I want my spot on that hot seat. Greg Minnaar then at the top, the 2011 winner on this course. This guy hardly ever finishes out of the top 5. Very rarely do we see Greg off the podium. A little bit of a wayward start there though. Minnaar desperately hard on those pedals and pushing himself over to the left a little bit. Won't have cost him any time, but not how you want to start your run. Looks back to his immaculate self here though. Those little pedals he's putting in out of the turns are what makes such difference, and you can see just how bad the weather is up the top there. The fog really closing in. So Minnaar, well, looking down at his bike there, he looked in a bigger gear than I would have thought he might have been, just as we come into that spot there. So what's the split? Oh, Minnaar's a long way back. Nearly 5 seconds back. 4 times a winner here on this course, Minnaar. 9 times on the podium, and he looks like he's spinning a low gear there. Looking down at his bike again. I think something is wrong with that Santa Cruz bike there. Well, it wouldn't be surprising for a rock just to bend something, just to knock that rear derailleur, and Minnaar definitely run out of gears there. So something is up. 9 times on the podium here in the last decade. This man's track record is incredible, and he should be pedalling down there as well. Decided to tuck. So Minnaar has got problems. It's a disappointing day for the man who came into this race as the joint World Cup leader with Aaron Gwin.
Just came over a drop and I slammed into a rock, so I lost my chain. I tried to spin it out as much as I could, but at the level these guys are riding, there's just no way. So I'm a bit disappointed because I felt I could have done well here, but unfortunately it wasn't my day.
Danny Hart then, the next man to leave the gate, the current reigning world champion, riding for the Giant Factory team. Who can forget his best World Cup result, actually, which was second here last year. And you can see just how bad the fog is at the top there, making Danny disappear in that white World Champions jersey. Hard to see him, but again, fast through those turns. And Danny Hart been up here preparing, won a British Championship race here just a few weeks ago, and spent a fair bit of time preparing for that. So Hart not sending that jump there. Is he tired? Let's have a look at what the split will tell us. Oh, he's the closest to Gwin so far, 1.687 back. So the world champion would love to take the win here in front of this patriotic home crowd. Squashing that jump there, you can see him not being as over-exuberant as we have seen Danny Hart with big whips, always stylish in the air but playing it safe. And he looks strong on this pedaling here, sends the step down as well. So he's only got a little way to go. And it looks like a much stronger lower section. This pedaling section last year is what cost him the winner. He lost a second to Gwin on it. This year he looks a lot stronger. Has he done enough to steal the win away? Oh, all over the place, and here he goes second. Just 0.83 back. He did actually pull a second back from that split time. So a great run from Danny Hart in front of a home crowd. So G. Atherton in the start gate. Big day for him. We've heard earlier in the show just how much he would love to win here again. 2010 was the last time. In fact, that was the last year that he won a World Cup as well. 2011 a little bit sparse for the Englishman. Looking to get back on top of the podium. He's nearly always in the top 3, but a win has been eluding him, and the conditions are looking horrible at the top of this course at the moment. As you can see, Atherton there just threading her through those rocks, a foot out into that turn. So last year he was 4th here, but he actually collapsed his back wheel. He tachoed it so hard on the way down that I can't believe he got to the bottom for 4th. So where is he at the split? Oh, he's 4th then, 4.142 back. And unfortunately, like Rachel, today will not be G's day. He can't close that sort of a gap up. But in the overall, he'll still be thinking about the overall point standings, and he is a strong pedaler, so let's see if he can close anyone up on this lower section. The crowd are getting behind him, but they know it's not going to be a win for G. Atherton. Down this big drop here, the 2010 World Cup champion is in the hunt in 2012. So Atherton steps down the triple, crosses the line 3rd, makes 1 spot up. A great solid performance from him, but not the win he'd be looking for. That belongs to Aaron Gwin, the American who won 5 races and the overall World Cup in 2011. Narrowly missed out round 1 this year, has taken rounds 2 and 3. What are these riders going to do to stop Gwin getting on a roll?
Oh man, that was a hard run. I was definitely hanging at the bottom, didn't have much left. Tried to just conserve it at the top and be smooth so I could put something together. It was not the best weekend for me, but managed to pull it together, man. Yeah, I kind of can't believe it, really.
Well, a little over a year ago, Aaron Gwin hadn't won a World Cup. Today was his 7th career win. Can you believe it? Aaron Gwin, definitely the man to beat at the moment. Danny Hart there in 2nd spot. G. Atherton 3rd. Sam Hill, a great ride for him. Sam Hill looking to be coming back to form slowly but surely. And Josh Bryson, fantastic ride for him in 5th spot. So good to see 3 Brits in the top 5. I should be impartial, I know. And in the overall, Aaron Gwyn now extends that lead over Greg Minnaar, who had a bit of a disaster today with mechanical problems. G-Man in 3rd. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the action here from the 10th World Cup race at the legendary Fort William. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time from Mont Sainte-Anne in Canada, where I promise you the weather will be better. Till then, goodbye.